Two course creators, same platform, same course, same $100 sale. One of them keeps every dollar. The other quietly hands back 7.5 of every 100 on every sale forever. Same company, same product. So what is the difference between them? It is one line on a pricing page that almost nobody reads before they sign up. That platform is Teachable. And this is the first time I am covering it on this channel, so I am going to do it properly. Because if you run corporate training, Teachable is not one product. It is two, priced completely differently. And picking the wrong one is the single most expensive mistake you can make here. Today, I am putting it head-to-head with Thinkific for one specific job, business and compliance training, where each one wins, where the fees hide, and the exact point where the right answer flips. No feature checklist, just the decision that moves money. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Teachable sells two completely separate pricing lines, and which one you are looking at changes everything. The first is the educator line. This is the creator pricing, the plans you see first, starting at $29 a month. It is built for someone selling courses to the public. The second is the enterprise line, and it is a different universe. It starts at $6,000 a year, and it is priced per user for organizations rolling out training internally. Most corporate trainers land on the educator page first, because that is what Teachable shows you. And for a lot of them, that is genuinely the right place to be. But some of you belong on the enterprise line and do not know it exists. And some of you are being quietly pushed toward it when the educator line would have done the job. So, before a single price makes sense, you need to know which door you are actually standing in front of. Let us take the educator line first, because that is where the famous fee lives. The educator line has 4 plans: starter at $29 a month on annual billing, builder at $69, growth at $139, advanced at $309. And starter looks like the obvious place to begin. Low commitment, get your courses live. But look at the line most eyes slide right past. Starter carries a 7.5% transaction fee on every single sale. And to be clear, that is not the payment processor. Stripe still takes its own cut on top. The 7.5 is Teachable's own slice, and it exists on Starter only. Every plan above it drops that fee to 0. 7.5% might sound survivable. On one $20 sale, it is $1.50. Who cares? But you are not selling one course to one person. You are a training operation. Seat licenses, bulk enrollments, compliance packages sold to a company. That fee scales with every one of them. So watch what it actually does as the numbers grow. This line is starter, $29 a month, plus that 7.5% riding on every sale, so it climbs as you sell more. This line is builder, $69 a month, but 0 transaction fee, flat. Watch where they cross. Right around $530 a month in course revenue, the fee on starter costs you more than the entire price gap to builder. Past that line, the cheap plan is the expensive plan. And a training team selling to a company does not crawl toward $500 a month. It clears that on day 1. Let me make it concrete, because a percentage is easy to wave off and a dollar figure is not. At $2,000 a month in sales, that fee is $150, gone every month on top of your plan. Scale to $5,000 a month, which any real rollout clears, and it is $375 a month handed to Teachable in fees alone. $4,500 a year for staying on the plan that looked cheapest. So the takeaway on the educator line is simple. If you are running real training volume, starter is not a starting point. It is a tier that taxes your growth. Your actual entry point is builder at $69, where the fee finally hits 0. Price Teachable's educator line from builder, never from the headline 29. That is the fee problem most trainers miss. And there is a second fee almost no review surfaces. If you would rather run payments through your own Stripe account instead of Teachable's built-in processor, Teachable adds a 2% integration fee on top for US-based schools. So the platform is quietly incentivized to keep you inside its own payment rails. None of this is hidden exactly. It is all on the page, but it is spread across 3 separate places. And unless you go looking, you price the platform on the one number they put in the biggest font. That pattern, the real cost sitting one click away from the headline, is the through line of this entire video. Now the enterprise line, because this is where corporate trainers get genuinely confused. Enterprise Core is $6,000 a year for 250 users. That is $2 per user per month. Pro is $12,000 a year for 1,000 users, which works out to $1 per user. So it gets cheaper per head as you scale, which is the whole logic of enterprise pricing. But $6,000 a year is nearly double the educator line's top plan. So what are you actually paying for? 3 things, and only 3 things, matter here. Single sign-on, so your people log in with their existing company credentials instead of a separate Teachable account. Organization management, so you administer users at scale instead of one at a time. And a dedicated account manager plus compliance support. If you need those, the educator line simply cannot do it at any price. And enterprise is not expensive. It is the only option. If you do not need them, you are about to overpay by thousands a year for a login button you will never use. That is the real Teachable decision, and it has nothing to do with the course builder. Let me draw the line precisely, because the crossover point is not obvious. Picture a 200-person company running annual compliance training internally. On the educator line, even the top advanced plan gives you no single sign-on, so every one of those 200 people needs a separate Teachable login you provision by hand. That falls apart fast. On Enterprise Core, $6,000 a year, they log in with their work credentials and you manage the whole group from one place. Now picture a solo trainer selling a course to a few hundred customers a year. Same user count, completely different need. That trainer would be insane to pay $6,000 a year for single sign-on their customers do not want. Same numbers, opposite answer. The deciding factor is never how many people. It is whether they are your customers or your colleagues. So where does Thinkific sit against all this? Cleaner in one specific way. Thinkific's plans do not carry a platform fee on your sales the way Teachable's Starter does. Start is $74 a month. Grow is $149. Higher headline than Teachable's $29, but flat. One catch, and it is the same pattern we just saw. That flat promise holds if you use Thinkific's own payment processor. Run your own Stripe instead, and Thinkific adds a gateway fee on top, just like Teachable does. Keep payments inside their rails, and the honest comparison is Thinkific's Start or Grow against Teachable's Builder, not against that Starter headline. But here is where it gets decisive for compliance, and I need to explain SCORM plainly in case it is just a word you have seen. SCORM is the standard that lets a course talk to your systems. When someone finishes a compliance module, SCORM records that they did it, how long it took, whether they passed, and hands that record to whatever tracks your organization's training. For anything with a legal or audit requirement, safety, harassment, data protection, that completion record is the entire point. No tracking, no proof, no compliance. So where does each platform stand? On Thinkific, SCORM lives on the Plus plan. That is the top tier, and it is custom priced, which means there is no public number. It is a sales call, and the quote depends on your size. And a warning here, because Thinkific has moved this around, earlier this year, a mid-tier briefly carried a public SCORM price, and it has since been pulled. So if a review quotes you an exact SCORM price on Thinkific, it is already out of date. Verify the version support you need on that call too. On Teachable, SCORM is not a native strength on either line. So if SCORM is a hard requirement, Thinkific can meet it, but you are walking into a quote, not a checkout page. And this matters more than a normal software choice, because picking wrong is not a mistake you fix with a click. Start on the educator line because the price looked friendly, build out your catalog, enroll a few hundred people, then hit the SSO wall or the compliance wall. Now you are not switching a subscription. You are migrating live courses, user accounts, and every completion record you have already generated without breaking anyone's training in progress. Weeks of work, real risk to your compliance records, exactly the kind of project that gets a training lead in trouble. The cost of choosing wrong is not the monthly fee. It is the migration you never budgeted for. So here is the honest split, and it is not one answer, it is three, depending on who you are. 1. If you sell courses mostly to individuals with a focused catalog, Teachable's educator line on the builder tier is a clean, zero-fee home. Do not pay for enterprise you will not use. 2. If you are rolling training out inside an organization and you need single sign-on and user management, Teachable Enterprise at $6,000 a year is not expensive. It is the only tier that does the job. 3. If SCORM compliance is your requirement, Thinkific meets it, but only on its custom-priced Plus plan, so get a quote before you commit, because Teachable does not cleanly meet that need on either line. Notice what decided that. Not the feature checklist, not which builder looks nicer. It came down to 3 questions. Who is your buyer, individuals or an organization? Do you need single sign-on? And is SCORM compliance in scope? Answer those honestly, and the platform, and the tier, picks itself. Answer them by watching a feature tour, and you find out you chose wrong when the invoice, or the auditor, arrives. If this saved you from pricing the wrong line, the 2 videos on screen go deeper. One walks through building compliance training on Thinkific. One is a full SCORM walkthrough. Those are your next step if compliance is your path. That is the teachable decision most corporate trainers get wrong. And now it is not going to be you. Next on this channel, we put the platforms that did not make this comparison head to head.